Italiano word of the day for today, Friday, 13 September 2024 is Fortezza. Fortezza, which translates to English as fortress. And a fortress is a place slash a thing that is very secure and safe and holds things that at least I like the safety slash security. This could be a big building. It could be kind of a safe place in terms of maybe some people have, well, we could, yeah. So let's say they're a professional athlete and they really want to compete with a certain club. So maybe they find a way to kind of turn the club into a fortress for them. And within that, it's like a, maybe it's like a dungeon within the fortress. Right? The fortress is the sport that they compete in, and the club is like, oh, how about not a dungeon, a chamber. And maybe they say, how do I make this sport a fortress for me? And I'm going to do a Franz English muffin with peanut butter and hazelnut spread. I already spread it. Let's go through this. So let's talk through what it would take to make a sport, a fortress for a professional athlete. So they have their sport. So let's say it's European football. And should I count this as football coverage? Possibly. I think it's through. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't. Okay. So they have their sport. It's football or soccer. And they really want it to be their home, a place where they can find safety and security all seasons of life. So maybe they have 2 or 3 clubs they really like. And they're like, these are, if I could only compete for certain clubs, these would be it. So they work with each of the clubs and build foundations and kind of turn them into a chamber. Maybe it's 1 season with the team. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's taking on a little bit of a different role, but if they want to play soccer, then maybe it's a season with the winning team. So let's say that is analogous to constructing a chamber in this physical fortress. Then how do they keep it going? Like, what if a season comes that they don't get any of that? Well, because they're building a fortress, instead of taking something else and leaving the fortress and leaving the safety and security, they choose nothing. They choose something else. All right, there might be 3 technical rooms in the fortress, but how about the kitchen? Or how about the bathroom? Or how about the bedroom? So then maybe they take and they find a cognitive space they like. So maybe they get interested in mathematics or physics or geology. And maybe they build a foundation in that. And each foundation in that is a chamber. So that way when they're not competing, they have something to do with their mind. And then maybe, let's say, their really cognitive fodder of the day is physics or mathematics. And they go, but I'm not playing. So how do I build a physical component into my fortress of home, that I call home, of football, that's still physical but doesn't entice me in when I can't get back in? So maybe that's geology. Maybe it's going and hiking, collecting samples, making observations out in the field. Maybe it's doing some physical processing of samples that have already been collected, but incorporating a physical component. Maybe that comes with its own chamber. All right, and a map room or an adventure room, a sample room, a laboratory, workbench with bench space. So then, once those things, each of those chambers of the fortress are constructed, no matter what season comes their way, be it one of competition or not, they have something they can do that makes it possible to transition from one chamber to the other. Maybe they're in the laboratory chamber one time, looking at samples from the Pyrenees Mountains. And then the next season, they're competing for Paris Saint-Germain, or Germain, or whatever it is. Or Manchester United. Or Liverpool FC. Anyway, sometimes the construction of a fortress to make it a place where one lives and does not switch around a lot requires a fair amount of effort and a fair amount of time. So there we go. This is my football fortress talking through. Fortezza in Italiano. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. She, her, hers, Seattle. Thank you for joining me for this Italian word of the day for today, Friday, 13th September 2024.